Hi all, from Lynn's Garden here. Yesterday was Mother's Day, so I did not do a walk around. So today's Monday, and just thought I'd give you a peek. I did do a little weeding and clearing of the patio this weekend. Still have a lot more to go. This part isn't too bad with the weeds because I did that not too long ago. But I do have to get a blower or a broom and clean it off. And hopefully you can hear all the birds this morning. They're having a good day. I'll walk down the middle path here first. As you can see, the jasmine on the posts is going great. That blooms a little bit later in the season. Oh, and I hear Dipper. He's probably wanting food. And the dings that you hear, we have a camera out here, and every time there's motion in the backyard, it dings my phone to let me know what's out there. This is a brand new plant that I just put in. Got this for Mother's Day. It is a red fire hydrangea. And it's got the big leaves to it. And it will turn color depending upon my soil here. So in order to keep it red, I might have to do some alteration or just let it go to its natural state. My Camas lilies are blooming. And over here I have one blossom. And I'll focus in on it here. One blossom on my potentilla. Well, actually a couple of them. But that's getting ready to bloom too. Doesn't have a lot of blooms on it from what I can see, but it will eventually. I don't usually expect that to bloom till closer to the July season. Now to get out without falling over. There we go. Now you can see how pretty the pygmy rhodie is. It's getting really, really full of blooms. And it just gives a pop of purple next to my my yellow flowers over there, which those are basket of gold. And you can kind of see the difference in the colors. Oh, and there's some birds over there. Juncos. Probably gathering Shadow's fur. All the birds seem to love to gather her fur. Although that one's digging for fruit, for insects. And our insects have come out. Hello, Mr. Junco. I can tell it's a mister because it's got a very, very black head to it. All right, well, coming over this way. On this side of the fountain, I've I've got that gorgeous azalea, which just keeps getting better every day. And the plant in front of the azalea there with the big broad leaves, that one is, yeah. Let's take you over here. I have my mind on my rhododendron, my white rhododendron that is over here blooming. Isn't that gorgeous? Such pretty flowers. Get in here a little closer. Very pretty, very, very pretty. But I've done some transplanting. I planted a primrose in here with those big leaves. I've got lupin that are going to be blooming soon. And those will get to be a nice big plant. This one with the big leaves are hollyhocks. But look at that azalea. Isn't that gorgeous? And I've got hosta coming up and some lilies coming up, and I have mint planted in here, and the mint goes crazy too. Eventually it'll hide the barrel by the end of the season. But I'm going to walk down the path today, take a different route. I have a deep red azalea that's about ready to bloom down here. I weeded out around it. I clipped back my my dogwood tree this past year, and I clipped back the viburnum and gave it a little more space, and it has decided to spread out and be very pretty. Now, at the end of the path, or across the path, we have more of the basket of gold. Have a peony over there, and up here, very pretty lilacs that are about ready to pop. Now these lilacs have a history to them. I brought these from my property in Deer Park. And those that went to the property in Deer Park came from Post Falls, Idaho, on my property there. So they've moved around a bit. And originally, they came from Cherry Hill in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. So they have quite a history. They're travelers. And I don't take the mother plant, I always take the shoots off of them. So it takes a few years for them to get up there in height. But they manage. Now down here, this little green plant right here, this is an upright fuchsia. And I planted that last year because I have another one over here. And I thought this guy had died, but let's see if I can get in there. Down there, you see that green? It hasn't died. It's going to come up again. But I did cut down the dead stalks just recently, because it was quite tall. All right, well, that's looking up the path. And let's go over on this side and see what's happening. Over here, this is my purple clematis, and that's blossoming up nicely. And I've got some wallflowers in pretty light lilac color. And some very vibrant tulips. And down there, that mass of foliage, that's phlox, and that'll get to be huge, and another purple color. My dinner plate rose. And I popped in some, in the early spring, I found some, this is a honeysuckle. It's supposed to remain, it's a bush honeysuckle, and I'd never heard of it before. So I've got several of those plants in there. And it's supposed to get to be about 3 feet, 2 to 3 feet wide, and a couple of feet tall maybe, if we're lucky. Oh, and you can hear the airplane going over. And this is my spirea. And as you can see, that is just full of buds. And this will be, I believe, white. It didn't flower much last year, and I cut it back. And it seems to be doing very well this year. All the rain it must like. Not that I do. And in the back there I have a yellow rose. I have a big primrose here, which I may be dividing. Most of my primroses I'm dividing up. I'm going to put some in the little circle out front. And I've got to straighten my miscellaneous fruit tree here that I planted from seed. Flowered really, really early, and I'm not seeing any sort of blossom or any sort of fruit developing on it. So I may not have a pollinator in here. Oh, a bird just flew by. Well, hello, Robin. Are you listening to me talk? I don't know if I can find the robin in the tree or not. There it is. Yes, I see you. Are you here for my worms? Yeah? And more lilacs continuing along the fence. And down here, I'm finally getting some bellflowers on my Solomon seal, and I've got some spurge back there. And I don't know, it looks like I'm going to have berries on my serviceberry tree, or serviceberry. Get the little cones out of it here from the alder tree. But yeah, it looks like I might actually get some berries out of them. And we just put that in this year, so that's good. This is a variegated spurge. And it just gives a little wild flower look back here. And that's the Solomon seal. And those will have bellflowers just like a lily of the valley. Only they get way taller. And over here, I have a columbine. And at my feet here, I've got another one. And you can sort of see down the lane there where their lilacs are all blooming all the way down. And I've got different colors. I've got some that are really dark and some are the lighter lavender. Trying to get some different views here so that you're not always seeing the same thing. More phlox. And I planted an astilbe back there in between the logs. And I did that 2 weeks ago. And already we've got new leaves on it. So apparently it's liking where it's been put. And my lighter green lemon balm. This is one of the roses that a friend gave me. And I didn't think it was going to make it, but it's doing okay. But I forget which one it was. Sorry, Kate. Forgot the name of it. And the hosta. Some daisies. Another hosta. I like hostas. The leaves are just so huge. And down here, what looked like weeds are not. These are my black-eyed Susans. And as you look up the path there, I've got some very pretty bugleweed that's blooming. And that'll take over the hillside. I just put that in last year. I've got it coming up all over the place out front. From some that I planted a couple of years ago. And a couple of years ago, about 10 years ago. And so every now and again I'll pull some out from out front and stick it in the back garden. And that big tall one is a lily. And I believe those are red lilies there. And this is my big burning bush. And it's got forget-me-nots underneath. And by the way, folks, it is chilly out here. It is only 47 degrees. But the plants don't seem to mind. And I've got more lilies coming up back here. And this is an anemone. And I love it. It is gorgeous. And if I pick off the blooms, it'll continue to bloom. I've got to deadhead this one because that one's slowed down. That's a pink one. But it's been so nasty out here. Who wants to work in 40-degree weather? My bronze 9 bark, which I separated off last year. And it is really, really pretty. It's prettier than the one that's up by the house. Look at the color of those leaves. They are just shining. Almost gold. A Japanese purus. And I transplanted my blueberry bush because I needed room for banana trees, which are not doing well. Oh, and I got another stick that came down in my butterfly bush that I'll have to pull the stick out. Some more white iberis. Roses. I have lots of roses. Fire and ice hostas. Oh, and it looks like I'm going to have to tie my peas up because they aren't adhering to the post. So I'll at least have to tie them up a little bit down here. And coming over here, you can see that my mason bees have been very busy. All of those little holes are starting to fill up. Uh-oh, and I'm feeling sprinkles again. I tried to get out here and do this in between the rain. And the truck you hear is the trash man. It is trash day. And my lilacs on this side. Now these are lilacs that I did purchase. Those didn't come from Deer Park. All right. And my red lace maple is doing well. This will be a double pink rose. And the tree behind it is a dogwood, and that is getting ready to blossom. As a matter of fact, I see one blossom that's opened on the very left-hand side. So they are starting to open up. Uh-oh, and I'm flashing battery. And this is a pink azalea back here. The color in my garden is mostly reds, purples, lavenders, pinks, and yellow. Those seem to be the colors that are most attractive to my birds. Hummingbirds especially. And my red maple's doing very nicely this year. And that's a 3-leafed maple on the other side. And lots of daylilies. I'll be separating them probably closer to the end of the season. And I'm still waiting for my, I have a hibiscus coming that's going to fill in this area. So, still waiting for it. Won't be coming till June. And lots of phlox coming along. I've got some lavender, another azalea, hosta coming up with the phlox, my Japanese purus, and this is doing very well with my pansies and different plants that I've put in there. And I think that's all for now because my battery is getting very, very low. I'm surprised it's lasted this long. But that's all for now from Lynn's Garden in Manchester / Port Orchard, Washington. Bye.